Well, it's hurricane season here on the East Coast as Cole and I barrel down the hatches and survive this. What is it, Hurricane Helena?
Yeah, hell of a hell of a name. Helena, what was the last one? Fucking, you remember what the last hurricane was?
No, I just remember the ones from when I was a kid, which were like Irene.
Kamala. Oh
uh,
wait, that's politics. Sorry.
Ooh,
Oops.
ooh. You've
Just
gotten political on this show twice.
no. We've cut those out, I thought.
No, I don't really cut much out, dude.
Yeah, as
Uh,
as we were.
biggest news in the NFL, I think, this week right now is Christian McCaffrey flies out to Germany and gets a second opinion on his Achilles, and they tell him he's going to be out a couple of months.
Oh shit, that happened.
Yeah. So I presume he went there to think to like get evaluated and thinking that he was going to get better news. Turns out, nope, injury's worse than they thought whoever he was seeing in the United States says. And I there's the report was months. So let's earmark Thanksgiving. We'll see Christian McCaffrey again.
I've got a cool stat to open this up. So worst lowest in NFL history for quarterback yards, like per depth of target per throw for a quarterback in NFL history. It's the lowest it's ever been across the league at 7.2 yards per target. And guess who the lowest and guess who the best is right now?
Like at yards per target.
Yards per target.
Well, lowest I feel like will be Deshaun Watson because he just throws everything check down and is awful. And the best right now, Derek Carr.
I don't know if you're close because I just know the best and the worst, but at Mahomes' worst with a 5.2 yards per target, Anthony Richardson with a 12.9 yards per target.
Well, he can't com Anthony Richardson can't complete a 5 yard pass, so that makes sense.
That's, yeah.
All right, let's get into first down real quick. All right, we'll start last Thursday. Obviously, it's Thursday again. Cole and I have some busy schedules. You'll probably hear about it at the end of the episode when Cole and I do our little brush up of everything. But Thursday night last week, Jets polish off the Patriots 24-3. Aaron Rodgers looked real good, bud.
He is, I never had a doubt, and I'm not saying that now that I know and now that everyone knows, but people just, I don't know if it's because politics or if it's because people just hate his personality. People love to find ways to not like Aaron Rodgers. And the truth is, I mean, I think Brady was like that too. Everyone likes to make a villain out of the best of a generation, like LeBron, a
Yeah.
Kobe, even when Kobe was alive, rest in peace. Right now, Aaron Rodgers is still, and I when I say in his prime, I don't mean physically his ability to elude a top tier pass rusher in the pocket, but he can still move around on his feet, throw off platform. He's got a rifle. He can still throw the 65-yard in the air pass across the field on a dime. Like he is probably the most accurate quarterback of all time. And I'm saying that I understand there's Drew Brees and players like that could throw the 7-yard slant, a million times and never miss. But I'm talking about a deep thrower, the guy that can throw the ball on a fucking nickel. Aaron Rodgers is that guy. There's no other player that really brings that legacy type of traditional quarterback, that type of perspective into the game. And he's still great. Enough about him.
He makes it look
I like how,
effortless.
yeah, Alan Lazard's back in the game, doing great. I really like Braylon Allen, as you mentioned last week, and we talked about on the podcast. Braylon Allen and Brees Hall, they're great combo. The offensive line, I know they lost Morgan Moses. I don't know how bad that injury was. Um, you would hope that he's not hurt for good, but that's why you drafted Olu Fashanu in the first round.
Yeah.
So that was almost like a come to Jesus moment when, hey, we drafted our rookie first round tackle because we know one of our old vets are going to get hurt.
Yeah, or they will outperform them in camp or something, or they'll have time to learn behind that veteran. Um, on the Patriots side of the ball, we saw Drake May get some garbage time. He didn't look bad, he didn't look great. A lot of Patriots fans were really hoping he would throw a touchdown pass in that last couple of seconds because he would be like what, the first quarterback of that rookie class to throw a touchdown pass. So we got to see Drake May a little bit, but I think by watching that entire game, Patriots are doing the right thing by keeping Drake May on the bench. Jacoby Brissett had pressure left and right and had barely any time to throw in the pocket. And you don't want a rookie quarterback ending up like David Carr, who sets the record for how many times he gets hit slash sacked in his first couple of seasons, and it completely destroys his confidence. You want Drake May to sit there, learn the offense, learn defensive coverages, what defenses are going to try to do in order to prevent him from playing well. And Jacoby Brissett's a great guy to learn behind. I think the Jets look very good, and this is probably the start of the rise for them with Rodgers playing as well as he did, and the Killer Bees, Braylon Allen and Brees Hall, looking as good as they do.
Yeah,
All right, we'll head into the Sunday 1 o'clock games. The horrible game of the 1 o'clock games. Giants 21, Browns 15. Malik Neighbors goes for 2 touchdowns. Couldn't believe as a Browns fan that Denzel Ward, probably our best man-to-man coverage guy, wasn't mirroring or shadowing Malik Neighbors this entire game. Couldn't believe that. In the second half, the Browns adjust, hold the Giants to no points. Browns have opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to come back in this game after jumping out to a 7 point lead very quickly. Let me remind you, and fall flat on their faces. Deshaun Watson looked very bad again. The offensive line looked very bad again. Kevin Stefanski's play calling looked very bad again. So, as a Browns fan, let me talk to you guys real quick about this. It's not just Deshaun Watson. It's not just the offensive line. It's not just the receivers. It's not just the coach. It is a culmination of all of those things that is the problem right now, which is a massive problem because you have problems all over the place. It is not just one thing, it is all of it, which is horrible. We'll start with Deshaun Watson. Dude needs to get the ball out of his fucking hand. If it means he has one read and he throws it, fucking run those type of plays. That goes back into coaching. Offensive line. You need to get 5 fucking dudes that are going to be sitting there, one through or left tackle through right tackle, that are going to fucking line up and be able to fucking kill the guy in front of their fucking face. They can't just fucking sit back on their feet. Dewan Jones looks like he's 400 fucking pounds right now and he can't fucking move.
that's what he always was.
No,
Everyone knew that.
he was
He was
three.
6'8".
He was like three something last year, and he was quick. He looks bigger than he was last year, which I don't really blame him for being looking bigger, but because he had the fucking knee injury, so maybe he didn't get to work out as much or getting the proper type of food or whatever. But you're a fucking pro now, dude. You got to fucking learn what's gonna keep you good and what's gonna make you great. Wide receivers, know your fucking routes, dude.
Uh,
Some of these dudes are not running the fucking right route, and it's pissing me off. Kevin Stefanski, dude. If you have a problem on the fucking O line, don't go 5 wide, dude. Leave a running back in there to chip the fucking goddamn edge rusher so that we don't have Deshaun Watson running around like a fucking lunatic all the time. Also, don't go fucking 5 wide. Leave 2 tight ends in and fucking use them to block. Like, what the fuck are we doing? The other thing, everyone keeps bringing up Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco was great because of 2 things. Kevin Stefanski really tried to press the run when Joe Flacco was the quarterback, no, the run did not work every time. But what did that do by committing to the fucking run? It opened up fucking play action. And that is the success of this fucking offense. It's the play action ability and the rollout ability of the quarterback and completing the fucking passes on the move. We are not seeing any of those play designs this year with Deshaun Watson as the quarterback. I don't know why he went away from it. Maybe it's Ken Dorsey. Maybe it's Mike Vrabel. I don't fucking know, but we need to go back to what the fuck we were successful with last year and re-fucking learn it all. Giants looked good.
Daniel Jones is the man.
Yeah, four
That,
touchdowns, zero interceptions in his last two games.
against the top defense in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, definitely not the top defense. That's
um,
also another issue.
the I will say, I was listening to some kind of just stats runoff, and the second there's Browns are second worst in two categories on offense. One, they have the second worst offense in terms of, I guess, yardage and just overall total offense. Um, and then they're also Deshaun Watson is the second worst passer rating in the NFL, only to Bryce Young,
Yep.
who was benched for Andy Dalton. So that list of quarterbacks that you'd rather take over Deshaun Watson, I understand it's not just Deshaun Watson. Um, but you know what I don't like is in the press conference interview, I know it went like all over ESPN. The
I,
way he talks in a post, or can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
The I'm driving through the shitty part of South Carolina. Fuck. But
It's where I live, man.
the way the way he talks, like he's so casual, like they're like he doesn't give a fuck. That's what I don't like about like Deshaun Watson. Is like it's not like a cool, calm, collected type of casual. Cool for this type of casual, and it doesn't look like he cares.
No, he doesn't care. He doesn't have a love for football anymore. He doesn't love like Cleveland as a fan base. He doesn't love playing football. He doesn't love anything. The only thing that fucking he matters to him is that he gets a fucking paycheck. And that's the only reason why he shows the fuck up. And he doesn't take any fucking accountability for the fucking mistakes he makes on the field. And that's all I fucking want him to do is get in the fucking press conference, hey, be like, "Hey, I missed that read." Fucking take the accountability. Take the bullets like a fucking man, you fucking pussy. Like, we all fucking know. We all see the fucking plays. We all can watch the all 22, dude. It's not a fucking mystery anymore. Back in the fucking early 2000s, the 90s, 80s, yeah, it probably was a mystery because it was harder to get your fucking fingers on game tape. But now with the all 22, all of us can go back and look at all the fucking plays where you fucking suck, dude.
Yeah,
What happened to the dude that played at Clemson? Like that's all I wonder about.
yeah. I I think they. I would say what happened to the guy that played for Houston. I thought he was better on the Texans as a pro than he was in college.
True. That's a good point too. Like he played really well in that. Was that an AFC divisional or championship game against the Chiefs where they like the Texans jumped out to that early lead and they ended up blowing it?
That was the divisional.
Divisional round.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I have no idea what happened to that guy. I honestly think it all stems from these allegations that he's still facing. And when he lies to the Cleveland media about his mistakes, like I don't like this is just gonna I'm just gonna stay this point real quick and then we'll move on. But when he lies to the Cleveland media about these mistakes that he makes on the field, like there's no way a grand jury or anybody should not like what's the word I'm looking for? Find that guy guilty for what he did. Like we have evidence of his bad play and his mistakes on the field. We have clear-cut evidence.
that doesn't correlate to
It doesn't.
sexual
It
assault.
it doesn't cor it doesn't correlate. But my point is like how he can sit there up on a press conference and uh like today, I don't know if you saw this, but today like the 4th down and 1 where he fucking had a read where it was a quick slant that was supposed to be a rub route and open up the tight end on the flat. It worked to perfection. Jordan Atkins is wide open. He doesn't throw the ball, and then he tries to tuck it and run on that 4th and 1. The Browns ended up getting the ball back and getting another attempt at tying the game slash winning the game, but they miss another 4th and 1 later on. But that one, he has the read. It's open, and he looks at it, and he doesn't make it. Today in a press conference, he stated that Jordan Atkins was a decoy for him to run so that he could have a lane to run. And Ken Dorsey, offensive coordinator that we hired in the offseason, literally said, I don't know what Deshaun's looking at. So Ken Dorsey kind of threw him under the bus.
Yeah.
And the other thing is Stefanski is also not a very good, let me fucking just put it all out there and fucking take the bullets. He does not do that either. And that is a problem. I think Stefanski is one of the most overrated head coaches. All right, we'll move to the next game because we're spending too long on this. Packers 30, Titans 14. Malik Willis, dude. Great game. I think we lost Cole, but Will Levis
Can you
had it.
hear me?
Oh, there we go. I can hear you.
I
Okay.
can hear you too. Are
All right.
you speaking?
You can go.
You go ahead. Okay, I
Okay.
was gonna say, I was gonna say, uh, I'll speak. Let me just say, I I really think the Titans defense has a lot going for it. When Jeffrey Simmons says that you can't run the ball on us, I thought for the most part they they did really well at stopping the run up the middle. And we were trying. We were stubborn on trying to run the ball up the middle. And I mean, Josh Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson both had really strong grades from Pro Football Focus, but I don't know if Malik Willis had to win us this game with more than just game manager type play. And if he beat the Colts last week with a game manager performance, he definitely beat the Titans this week with a game manager plus plus. It was something where he was slinging the ball 30 yards downfield multiple times, accurate as you can be. Honestly, he's very accurate when he's like in his moment. And I think if he's not flustered, and I think he does a really good job at, like, even when he's flustered, he's good extending the play. I think he's matured in terms of not overextending himself and being erratic with his passes and his decision making. And hopefully the sample size doesn't get bigger. Hopefully Jordan Love returns and we don't have to see Malik Willis on the field again. But I have a lot of respect for how he handled himself. Um, Will Levis, still think he has a ton of talent. I don't know if he's going to latch in that Tennessee system. I don't think Brian Callahan really loves the quarterback play he's getting right now, but that is the shittiest offensive line in football. So I don't think you can discount our defense played lights out, had 3 turnovers, 8 sacks, should have had 9 or 10, but we had so many penalties. That's the Packers' biggest flaw right now. But yeah, I think the Titans offensively have a lot of work to do, but I think by the end of the year they're going to be a really competitive team. I think their defense is much better than advertised, and yeah, Packers could have made this game a lot further of a gap and won by 30. but they just never closed the loop and they only won by 2 scores.
Yeah, and it's positive outlook for the Titans that Will Levis played pretty decent, and then also the reemergence of DeAndre Hopkins, 6 receptions, 73 yards, and a touchdown. That's good for them. They also can't set up the running game. They're another team that's having trouble with that. So hopefully they'll figure it out in season's time. I also just don't want Will like the strings to be pulled off of Will Levis. I think he's talented and he's fun to watch. All right, we'll
I
go.
will say I don't. He did not play well, but I don't know if the stats, maybe the stat line saying that he did.
Stat line says he's played very well.
He that was all garbage time. He fucking did not play. He did not play well. He didn't play. It wasn't like, oh my god, get him out of the game. He's so bad. But he was. There were times where I'll just last thing I'll say on this. There was like fourth down conversions and they went for it and they were ballsy. And there was a running back open in the flat, and instead of throwing it, he would run it and not get it. And there was like wide open receivers. So he made a lot of bad decisions. But
Damn.
that's awesome.
Damn, Willie. All right, going into the next one. Colts take down the Bears 21-16. Colts have 3 rushing touchdowns. This was an ugly fucking game, dude. Anthony Richardson tried every will in his might to give the Bears this game, and the Bears could not score. Their Bears are having a lot of problems running the ball. I mean, you have a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams that is dropping back to pass behind an offensive line that is not good 52 times in a game. That is not okay. Obviously, the stat line makes it look a little bit better, but that is just not a recipe for the Bears to win. The Bears have a really good defense, and the defense did keep them in this game, but honestly, I really thought the Bears should fucking have won this game, and they had every opportunity, and the really just came down to like the Colts. It was like a war of attrition, and the Bears defense finally broke.
Yeah. Why is why is Caleb Williams? Can you hear me right now?
Yeah,
I just don't know if like how much have they invested into that offense, specifically the offensive line. I know it probably needs time, and that's what I'm going to believe is that they have the pieces. They just need it to grow and develop together. Um, but that's the shocking part to me is that offensive line. If you look at it on paper, that's a lot of players that you would be like, oh, I'm happy I'm happy we have him on our team. So I just need to watch maybe more of their football this year to understand why they suck right now. But uh, yeah, I thought it was kind of shocking to see like DJ Moore, like the disconnect he had on like the end of the game when he was open and Caleb Williams threw him a bad ball, how bad he was. Um, and that's another stat line where Caleb Williams had a pretty decent stat line, but from what I heard, he did not play well.
yeah, decent stat line, didn't play well, and I'm not gonna put as much as I fucking was yelling about Deshaun Watson and everything like that. I'm not gonna do that with the Bears, obviously, because I'm not a fan of the Bears. But I'll give the benefit of the doubt to Caleb Williams that, this is his third NFL game, and he is playing behind a bad offensive line, and he is getting absolutely no help in the run game, and they have tried to run the football. That is kind of the difference between the Browns and Bears is the Bears have tried to run the football and they just can't. I do agree with you that there is a disconnect between DJ Moore and Caleb Williams, but in this game with Keenan Allen out, Roma Dunze did have an emergence, some of that being garbage time, but it's good to see that the two rookies were able to connect and hopefully that chemistry can blossom in the future. You got anything else?
No, I'm good on that one.
All right, we'll go to a kind of a surprise, but I don't think we should be surprised by it anymore at this point in time. But Vikings 34, Texans 7. I think more the surprise more of this game is it not being closer is maybe what I was getting at. Vikings defense is very good with Brian Flores calling the plays. Brian Flores, we all know, had his time in Miami, was known as a defensive head coach. He was able to shut down CJ Stroud and make CJ Stroud look bad.
Yeah, I guess Brian Flores is like the sexy talk of like sports radio this week after just having strung together some solid wins and some great defensive performances. And I think it's impressive because people look at the defensive roster on paper for the Vikings and they're like, this team is average.
Yeah,
But the way they're playing, you would have thought they're the Chiefs or the 49ers defense. And so I think just right now, I think the roster is underrated. I think people are discounting how good they actually are. And I think they're finally taking them serious. It's going to take a few more weeks for Sam Darnold to play extremely well for people to finally believe that it's actually a good quarterback and a good system
I think they believe now,
versus
dude.
you think,
Yeah, no, dude. In this game, I watched a good amount of this game. Sam Darnold was making really good plays, and he threw for 4 touchdown passes.
yeah. I've always thought Sam Darnold kind of like Sarah, or I just said Sarah, kind of like Jared Goffish, where if you put him in a good offensive line, he can throw the ball. Like he's got a great arm, he's got great touch, he's accurate, he knows how to lead a pass or like a receiver. He's he can make all the throws and he's played in big games his entire career. I just don't know if he's great under pressure. And that's the thing where if you have a great offensive system where you can prevent him from taking pressure, he's going to be successful. So
Yeah, the knock
I
on
would like
him
to
coming
think,
out of USC was that he would make dumb mistakes, force the ball, and commit turnovers.
yeah, which he's older now. So maybe that's what it was. He finally matured, got his third or fourth stint in the NFL, and now he's making the most of it. I'll say this: they have a great offensive, entourage on that side of the ball. Their offensive line, I think, is in like the bottom eight, so that's not amazing. But defensively, yeah, they're legit.
Defensively, they're legit, and I think hats off to the Vikings coaching staff. That is the big thing here. I think the coaching of the Vikings is might be on an elite level right now with Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores. Like, I feel like there's a shift in the NFL where I was kind of thinking about it the other day where it's about tandems in the coaching world. Like, yeah, you have Andy Reid, and when you think of Andy Reid winning these Super Bowls with the Chiefs, you don't really think about it very often. But Steve Spagnuolo as the defensive coordinator is a key piece of the Chiefs' success. And then if you think back at like the the Belichick of the Patriots, Josh McDaniels is a key piece of the success of those Patriot teams. Belichick with the defense, McDaniels with the offense, little bits of advice from Belichick here and there on the offense. But I was thinking about it the other day and I was like, maybe coaching is more of like a tandem type thing where one is more focused on the offense and one is more focused on the defense, and it takes two elite or maybe one elite and one good one to stick together for a while. I think there's also a correlation there where Belichick, like McDaniels, had his time to go be a head coach, failed, came back. Spagnuolo had time to go be a head coach, failed, and then joined up with Andy Reid, and since then has not been entertained as a head coach. I think that there's a correlation there. Like there's some dudes that are coaches in the NFL that are just not made to be a head coach. They're made to be an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I I agree. I don't think Brian Flores is going to get a chance for a long time to be a head coach, and that's a great thing for the Vikings fan base. And
Yeah.
I would say right now, Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores, yeah, they're the best tandem in the league right now.
All right, we'll move next to an ugly game. Eagles top the Saints 15-12. biggest part of this game is Saquon Barkley's two fourth quarter touchdowns, one being a 65-yard touchdown, and then the Saints go down the field, answer it with a Chris Olave touchdown. Eagles then go right down the field behind a Dallas Goedert huge reception, get down to the goal line. Barkley scores. Sirianni had a couple of mistakes in this game where he chose to go for it on fourth down again when he was only, I think he was tied 0-0, and then he was down 3-0. I think he gave up two times where he could have kicked field goals. Eagles fans were pissed about it. Like, dude, just take the fucking points. Um, but it ended up working out for the Eagles, and yet people really still hate Sirianni in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think Philly fans suck though. I also don't know how loyal they are to the point where they're just they're tacky. So besides that bullshit, apparently they didn't love the way Jalen Hurts played either.
Yeah, he
And I
didn't
don't
play
think
great.
like I'm curious. I would if you put a poll out there for all of the Philadelphia sports lovers, how many of them believe in Jalen Hurts and how many of them don't?
I think
I
it'd
would
be
be
50-50
curious. Yeah, like, do you think Jalen Hurts can win you a Super Bowl?
on the Browns.
I would
Yeah,
be well, yeah, but you would say that as a Deshaun Watson guy.
yeah,
But
I'll take anybody at this point. I'll take myself over him.
okay, well, yep, okay. What I'll say, whatever. Only caught the very end of that game, but Saints have a big game upcoming. They're 2-1. They really need to get back into the groove if they want to keep this little like their legit type run going. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yep. All right, we'll move to the next one. Steelers top the Chargers 20-10. Justin Herbert gets hurt in this game. TJ Watt has another stellar game. The Pittsburgh defense is legit. Justin Fields, I think finding his home in Pittsburgh, being a kind of like a game manager, it's pretty easy to um rest knowing that you have such a good defense on the other side of the ball. But he did make some plays in this game. He looked pretty good. Najee Harris had a decent day. I think there was an emergence in the wide receiver room for that second wide receiver that they've been looking for. Calvin Austin really stepping up with four receptions, 95 yards, and a touchdown. I think that's a big thing for the Steelers. On the other side of the ball, the Chargers, they got charged again. They're slewed. They're injury riddled left and right already. Their first round draft pick, Joe Alt, was banged up in this game, and I think what's his name, Slater?
Rashawn Slater, yeah.
I think he got banged up too. And then Herbert obviously wasn't able to finish the game. Bad news for the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, they're going in the next week without Derwin James because of his suspension, without Rashawn Slater or Joe Alt. They'll have two backup tackles. And then Justin Herbert is going to be at 70% probably, but he'll still play. Joey Bosa's nicked up. Their like team is always, and I think they probably have one of the most underwhelming. And I'm not saying they don't have like potential, but one of the most underwhelming pass catching groups in the league, which is scary when you look at the running back room and you're like, okay, J.K. Dobbins had a couple good weeks. Um, they've got Jim Harbaugh who knows how to run, and Justin Herbert's one of the most talented passers in the league. But like, if you don't have a dangerous player on the outside, defenses will play you differently. Like they're not going to be scared of the receivers on the LA Chargers offense. So you can only, as you said with scheme and coaching, you can only scheme up your offense so much before a talented defense just takes away an entire dynamic of your team. And you would have never said, let's force Justin Herbert to throw the ball. Like, but that's literally what I think teams are going to do moving forward.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was a talking point we had at the beginning of the season of the wide receiver room of the Chargers, probably their weak point. Lad McConkey, Josh Palmer, and Quentin Johnston. Quentin Johnston has had a pretty solid beginning to the season, but I think he only had like 3 receptions in this game. Like obviously he wasn't getting open, but I don't know how much to an effect it was that the fact that Herbert was so injured and he literally couldn't move back there, which he was a sitting duck whenever Slater and Alt both went down. So I think that's more of like besides the fact of him being hurt, that's also why they took him out was because they're two stud tackles that had been shutting down the pass rush. Got fucking shit on, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Chargers will be interesting. Steelers are scary right now.
yeah. I mean, defensively for sure.
Yeah. We'll go into the next game. Another big surprise. I don't think so, though, because of the way NFL lines work. You and I talked about it last week, how we both didn't want to touch it. Broncos beat the Buccaneers 26-7. Broncos defense came to play in this game. Bo Nix looked decent, was able to build successful drives to get down the field. I think he had a couple of rushing touchdowns, and Baker Mayfield looked not great. And I wouldn't say it was really his fault. He was getting pressured a whole lot. I think there's a stat where he has the least amount of time to com or to release the ball, um, based off of like I don't know what it was. I know that it's something where like he has the least amount of time when he drops back to pass or something so far in the league. But Buccaneers fall to the Broncos. I don't know what to think of the Buccaneers now.
I've always said the Denver Broncos are the top five team in the AFC. They're incredible. They're unbeatable, man. Their roster, watch out, brother. They're coming. Sean Payton, he's just one one generation removed from Drew Brees, and Bo Nix looks a lot like Drew Brees. You can't tell me there's a difference between those two quarterbacks. Um, Outside of that, Buccaneers are they terrible? Are they the worst team in the league? No,
No,
they're going to be fine.
the
They're
Browns
going
and
to
the
win the
Jaguars
NFC South.
exist.
The the Buccaneers will win the NFC South. I think we've found out that the Saints are mortal, and the Falcons are definitely mortal. So
Okay.
yeah, that's my takes.
Okay. All right, we'll go into the next game. Starting off the 4 o'clock games. Panthers 36, Raiders 22. What you got?
Panthers are going to the playoffs. They're going
After
to take
you
the sevens.
after you just said that the Buccaneers are gonna win the South.
Yeah, that you're telling me Cowboys or Panthers. Who you take? Actually, that would be a matchup I wish was going on like this week or next week. And I don't know. I know it's not this coming week, but how fucking cool would it be if the Panthers went into Dallas and beat the shit out of the fucking Cowboys? And I think right now the Cowboys are a really good team, but they aren't in their groove yet. Once they hit their groove, then they're gonna be like maybe this is the year where the Cowboys don't have it all together in the regular season, and then once December hits, they start fucking swirling and then they grind into the playoffs. That's what they need.
Well,
Not
they're
that why am I talking about the Cowboys when
yeah, we're
we're
talking about
talking
the
about the
Raiders and the
this?
Panthers.
um. So here's what I'll say: just win, baby. That's what I'll say. And it wasn't for them. Wasn't for them. Gardner
What?
Minshew, you're out of there. Aiden O'Connell's back in the game. You hate to see it as Devontae Adams.
That's not true. Gardner Minshew's still the starter of the Raiders.
Yes, but he went out of the game. They benched
Ah,
him.
okay. Yes, yes, yes. What do you do if you're the Panthers now? You're the
I mean,
Panthers. You're the Panthers GM. What do you do?
you start Andy Dalton now. You force yourself to start Andy Dalton until they lose, and not if they lose because of any other reason but Andy Dalton. You have to start Andy Dalton out of respect for the franchise and the team in that locker room until Andy Dalton plays poorly and causes the team to lose.
All right,
It's too early in the year.
I'm
It's
gonna
too
th
early in the year.
I'm gonna throw a best case scenario for you. If you're a Panthers fan, I think the best case scenario for you is that Andy Dalton continues to start, Bryce Young continues to sit, and then around like week 9, 10, Andy Dalton starts to get a little hurt, a little banged up, can't make a start. Bryce Young comes in, maybe with a little bit more confidence, and gets a little bit re-energized. That's best case scenario. Literally, I don't think that's going to happen, but you I think I saw a report the other day where the best that the Panthers can get for Bryce Young, if they were to put him on the market, is a day 3 pick in the draft. I mean, I think maybe it's better to call it early than it is to call it later. Say, hey, we fucked up, we made the wrong pick and move on from him and just start over, or what?
I mean, is he worth giving up? I think you just hang on to him if he's only worth the fourth or fifth round pick.
Yeah,
He's not a bad locker room guy. He's a good locker room guy.
it's a great
He
locker
wants
room
to
guy.
win.
Yeah, big game out of Andy Dalton, 3 touchdown passes. Deontay Johnson really emerged in this game too. Probably because somebody was getting him the ball. All right, next game, Seahawks 24, Dolphins 3. Boring game, really
Yes,
boring. Skylar
terrible.
Thompson's not good, and then he got hurt. That's all I got.
You you said, didn't you say that you thought the Dolphins offense was still going to look good because it's the Dolphins offense with Mike McDaniel and all the offensive weapons?
Okay, so I said that I think that they were really fast, and who knows, maybe that I remember saying who knows, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
And
Well,
I
now we know.
maybe
Now we
not.
know.
Maybe not. And it's definitely not now. And also, if you're a Dolphins fan, I'm pretty sure Tyler Huntley is starting for you this week.
That's. I know you don't like Tyler Huntley. I think Tyler Huntley is significantly
I'll agree
better than
with
a
you
lot of
that I'll
backups.
agree with you that he's better than probably Skylar Thompson. I don't think he's better. Well, he might be, but I think he's only been on the Dolphins for like 2 weeks.
Malik Willis, same shit. Um, I'll say the other thing. The Seahawks,
Good.
very good. I think they were for real, and I don't think we ever really thought they were fakes, but
Well, they beat the
they would always just
Broncos,
kind
the
of lose.
Patriots, and the Dolphins without Tua.
Exactly, but here's the thing with the Seahawks: they always win early and then they lose late. But it's because you kind of question the makeup of their team and how they win. This team is playing really good defensively, and they have a really good defensive coordinator or head coach, defensive minded head coach. And with Mike McDonald, and now you're like, okay, offense always had the weapons. They can run the ball. They've got backups. That Kenneth Walker is out. Zach Charbonnet looks like a star. Like they have DK Metcalf, who still is one of the best receivers in the NFL that we just continuously like underestimate. I think maybe. So in my mind, Seahawks are for real, and the Niners are kind of looking down and slumped this early start of the year. The Cardinals are not playing great defensively, but have a good offensive thing going. And then the Rams, they just don't have it on defense. They don't think they ever will. I think Sean McVay is going to grind them to some wins, especially with Matthew Stafford still playing great. But I think the Seahawks might be favorites. Like, not favorites, but if they win this week against the Lions on the road on Monday Night Football, I think the Seahawks might be favorites for the division.
Mm, mm. Interesting. Interesting. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna add anything into that, but we'll go into next game. Ravens 28, Cowboys 25. Ravens get their first win behind Derrick Henry, who you've been prominent about not fitting into this offense. What are your thoughts?
Uh, he looked really good for 2.5 quarters.
True.
But I want Derrick Henry to seal a game in the fourth quarter better than that. So
Yeah.
if we can have, I'm not going to blame just Derrick Henry, but I'm going to blame the offense and how we attack a defense. But if you're playing a defense that can't stop the run worth shit like the Cowboys, why can't you run the ball on them when you're up by 2.5 scores with
Yeah.
Derrick Henry? Like I understand, like they know you're running the ball, so you become a little bit more one dimensional. But that's the type of offensive player you put in your team so that you can run the ball down their throat when you know and they know that you're running the football.
Yeah, I was really surprised at the ending score of this game. I think I turned it off to focus on the Rams 49ers. Like I had the dual screen action going and I thought that like the game was over in the third quarter, so I changed it and put on the 49ers Rams. But never thought that Dallas Cowboys would mount 19 points in the final fourth quarter and have a chance to win that game with how the Ravens were running the ball down their throat through the first 2.5 quarters. It was kind of like halfway through the third quarter that the Cowboys started to play defense. But Ravens squeak out a win. I,
Onside kick, yeah.
yeah, Ravens squeak out a win. What do you got about the onside kick?
I was just gonna say, like they they quite Aubrey's the best kicker in the league right now. They get an onside kick, and you just see the Dallas crowd in pandemonium, like, oh, it's finally gonna happen for us, not against us. We're gonna have a crazy comeback. And what do you see? Like they score, march right down the field. They had the opportunity to do an onside kick or kick the ball, and then have to get a three and out. And they ended up fucking saying, you know what, we're gonna play our defense, and maybe they should have done an onside kick again, back to back.
Probably. I don't know why you wouldn't in that situation. Um, yeah, another reason why Mike McCarthy is a head scratcher, but I know you like him. We'll go into the next game, which I just mentioned. Rams 49ers, Rams 27, 49ers 24. This game looked like it was in hand by the 49ers, and then all of a sudden the Rams won. Like, it's the best way to describe it.
Yeah. I really don't know how the the Rams did win this game. I just keep it like kind of like how Sean McVay said in the press conference, like, holy shit. Like I was watching that thinking like, oh, like the score's close, but the game's really not. Like the game flow.
Yeah,
And
Brock Purdy went
Brock
off.
Purdy played well. Yeah. And so I was just like, Matthew Stafford was resilient. His receivers weren't really playing the best for him throughout the game. Tutu Atwell had some drops. Demarcus Robinson didn't run the right routes a couple times, but he played really well with what he had out there. Kyron Williams is a baller,
Yep.
and Sean McVay's a great coach.
Yeah. This really was a like nut up or shut up game for both teams. Obviously, the Rams wanted it a little bit more, and they got it. They were 0-2 going into that game, and they could not fall to 0-3 if they wanted to keep their playoff hopes alive. Now they're sitting at 1-2, even with the 49ers. All right, let's go to the next game. Not a pretty one. Lions 20, Cardinals 13. Lions could do whatever they wanted to run the football in this game. Cardinals defense could not stop the run. I think combined between Gibbs and Montgomery, they combined for almost 200 yards rushing. I think it was just shy. Goff looked pretty good. Amon-Ra St. Brown did his thing. Kyler Murray did his best to try and get them back in the game, but he literally couldn't move the ball against the Lions defense towards the end.
Yeah, I didn't watch much of this football game, so I just know with that team, again, the Lions have the best offensive line in football and the best running back duo in football. So run the ball, and then kill a team with play action. That's their formula. If they do that, they'll beat anybody.
Yeah, and they have a very good defense, the Detroit Lions.
That's good for them.
All right, Sunday Night Football, Chiefs 22, Falcons 17. Kirk Rusty?
Uh, I just want to see how he looks with an offensive line that can protect him.
Yeah, yeah. I don't really have much out of this game. Chiefs won, and like they should have won. I think they're the better team. I think Raheem
Travis
Morris
Kelsey,
Morris is a
Travis Kelsey
decent
looks
coach. Yeah,
rusty.
it looks old.
Yeah, he looks like he's not going to be the same player ever again. And um, Rashee Rice is truly their number one guy. There's no doubt about that.
Still blows my mind how he's playing.
Yeah, he's really good.
Crashes a car while under the influence and flees the scene and doesn't receive a suspension.
Oh, you meant that's why you were shocked.
Yeah, that's what else would I be shocked about?
I thought you were like impressed with his performance. I can't believe that was
Oh no,
funny.
I think he's a good player, and I thought he was a good player last year, and I think we talked on this podcast about it a good amount. Where with time, Rashee Rice will probably become Patrick Mahomes' favorite target. We kind of can see that this year. Travis Kelsey, like you said, looks like he's getting older and might not be the same player anymore. I bet around week 13 through 16 he'll start putting up 100-yard games, but because they're going to start focusing on Rashee Rice, which is going to open up the middle of the field for Travis Kelsey. I think the Falcons will be fun. They were
I
com
agree.
they were competitive in this game, but uh when the Chiefs were up in this game 22 to 14, I didn't really think that the Falcons were ever going to come back. I thought
Yeah,
I thought
yeah,
coming out of the halftime, Spagnuolo made adjustments and the Falcons couldn't fucking figure it out.
yeah, I agree.
All right, Monday Night Football, ugly game. Bills absolutely slaughter the Jaguars 47 to 10. Josh Allen looks really good. He has receivers around him that are all, I'll say, good. Um, that he makes them look much better than what they are, like throws them open, like that pass to Shakir and that one pass to Keon Coleman where he hit them in stride and they were not caught by the guy who was guarding them. He's tough to guard while he's in the pocket. He's very mobile. I think the undernote of the Bills though is they did get rid of a lot of those veterans on defense, and their defenses look pretty good this year.
Yeah, gosh, I I look at like Josh Allen and the Pat Mahomes debate, and like if you need one game from a player, I probably would take Josh Allen. But if
Like,
you
yeah.
your career or a 20-year career from a guy, I'm gonna take Pat Mahomes
Mm.
because I just know how much longer Josh Allen's gonna be able to play the style he plays. Uh, but like I was watching the Pat Mahomes Josh Allen divisional round playoff game from 3 years ago, just on like a treadmill at the gym this week.
That the Bills game, the Bills Bengals game, or the Bills Chiefs game?
The Bills Chiefs game where Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen like just went
It was
back and forth in the final
yeah,
4 minutes.
the 13-second game.
That was incredible. Like both players, and I was watching Josh Allen's like on stepping up in the pocket, jumping, throwing the ball 30 yards, like perfect leading Gabe Davis on. I'm like, this is unreal how good of a game that was. Like that might be one of the greatest games of all time. But anyways, yes, I think the Bills are incredible. Uh, I agree with you. I think their offense might be a little bit overrated, and it's just Josh Allen show. But that's even more impressive. And you feel bad as a Jaguars fan because you were supposed to have a great defense this year, and all of a sudden your defense fucking sucks. Like what?
Yeah, banged up too, injured.
Yeah,
I think out of all the coaches besides Kevin Stefanski, who's on the hottest hot seat, that would be Doug Peterson.
yeah, and Trevor Lawrence too. Like Trevor Lawrence has got to deliver. I'm sorry, like he's been in the league a long time
Uh,
now. Like it's his
fifth,
fifth year.
fifth year.
Yeah,
Yeah, not good. And I don't know what the issue is, man. I maybe he just lost it. Maybe that hit that he took when he lost to Ohio State in his last year at Clemson really changed him. No idea.
I don't know if you told me my team was getting Trevor Lawrence in like a lottery, for
Yeah.
example, like we're gonna do like a lottery draft of just the quarterbacks, and like you don't know who's on your team. I don't know as a fan base if I'd be excited.
I think
I don't know. I don't. Yeah,
I would trade for him right now if I was the Browns.
yeah. Again, you have the shittiest quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I would trade him right now for you think we could get him for a fourth rounder?
You could get him for DeWan Jones.
Yeah, I mean we have Jack Conklin, so I'll give him right now for DeWan Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Love I think we won that trade.
Yeah, yeah. Let's submit that, man.
I I bet it goes through. All right, on a final game on Monday night, Commanders 38, Bengals 33. Monday Night Football, Jaden Daniels has his coming out party. I was a Jaden Daniels fan. I thought he was very good at LSU. The one thing that always scared me about Jaden Daniels is the amount that he ran going into the NFL, and in this game, he did run a little bit, but he stood in the pocket and he made throws. The last one facing an all-out blitz, dropping it into a bucket to Terry McLaurin. Unbelievable fucking pass. And the Bengals right now are reeling. And this is a game they should have won. Obviously, they had some injuries on defense that were key, but they've let slip out of their hands a game that in the opening week of the season against the Patriots that they were a heavy favorite. They lost that game. You have a hard game in week two against the Chiefs, your rival kind of right now, just because of the Joe Burrow, Pat Mahomes thing. You lose that game by one. Obviously, you're gonna fucking talk about that fucking call, but whatever. You still lose. And then you lose a game that you probably should have won at home against the Commanders. Tough scene. One side has got to be feeling really good right now with their rookie quarterback sitting at 2-1. The other side, 0-3. And I want to make this point too before I let you go off on this. A lot of teams in this league right now that paid their quarterback or their what they thought was their star quarterback. I'll name three off the top of my head. Browns, Jags, Bengals. Burrow, Lawrence, Watson. All three quarterbacks paid big contracts. All three of those teams fucking suck right now, dude. And I'm not saying that it's like because of the quarterback's contract, but it definitely takes away from building a strong roster by paying a quarterback that much money.
Yeah, I mean, if you take the four highest paid quarterbacks in the league right now, and Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Jordan Love, and Trevor Lawrence, they're 1-9 on the season, and now that's including Jordan Love's
Yeah, one game.
0-1. Yeah, like, but I don't know if that's just. I mean, I think it's fluky. I think that'll develop over time. But Jaden Daniels, I wasn't as high on him coming out of the draft. I thought that he was very college offensy and not very groomed for NFL. And obviously, the NFL and the college offense have kind of meshed to the point where NFL teams are running college offenses a little bit more. But I thought I mean, I still think he's very potentially, any given hit, he could be out and injured. Like he is small, and I worry because he doesn't really slide. Like he takes hits. So I just kind of get nervous on that end of how he's going to last durability wise. But the Commanders have a lot of good pieces. It wasn't just the one throw to Terry McLaurin. He had two beautiful throws to Terry McLaurin deep in that game.
I was
But he
just
was
saying that
also,
one because it was like towards the end of the
yeah,
game.
yeah. And like, but I think the entire game, they didn't punt. That was the first game since 1940 where there was not one punt or one turnover.
Hmm.
Both offenses were playing really well. The Commanders couldn't stop the Bengals. But the thing was, the Bengals kept on settling for field goals in the red zone. And the Commanders didn't. They were just touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. So I think the Commanders are really fun to watch. Obviously, you got what's his face, Cliff Kingsbury,
Cliff Kingsbury, second time around as a head coach or as a coach in the
off,
NFL.
offensive coordinator. Yeah, I mean
That's another
he's
guy. That's another guy that we were talking about earlier that he had a job, he had an opportunity to be a be a head coach, failed. Now he's got another time being an offensive coordinator, and he's looking like he's going to be successful at it.
yeah, yeah. So for sure.
Um, any final points? That's the last game of week 3. All right,
Can
second
you
down.
hear me?
Oh,
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
oh, okay. Second down. Right now, Cowboys are playing the Giants. Cowboys are up 14-6. CD Lamb has a huge game already. 5 receptions, 85 yards, and a touchdown. I think he went for a 50-yard touchdown already. I saw one pass from Daniel Jones to Malik Neighbors for like a 33-yard completion. That was impressive. Giants just kicked the field goal. It's now 14-9, a minute and 6 seconds left. Who'd you have in this game?
I had Dallas minus 5.5, but I didn't bet on it. Actually, I did bet a lot on it, but I don't remember what I bet because I bet crazy parlays.
Gotcha. All right. Let's start at the 1 o'clock games on Sunday. First game, Saints Falcons. Who's the pretender and who's the fucking real team?
Saints, Falcons. I think Saints are going to win this game. I just, I think the Falcons need to grow a little bit more and develop. Um, yeah, I I really like the Saints defense and the fact that Caleb McGarry, their right tackle, is out for the Falcons this week, and they're also missing an interior lineman. I forget his name. They are already struggling on the offensive line. They're not running the ball as well as they did last year, and they could have been better last year at running the ball. But yeah, defensively, they're pretty good at stopping the run, but they don't really have a good pass rush. They're not really scary on the back end, although they have two strong safeties. So yeah, that's really what I got.
I'm in agreement with you that I would probably lean towards the Saints. I think the one advantage for the Falcons is that they are home. But besides that, I really feel like the Saints are making me eat my words with. I didn't realize that they had a Kubiak as an offensive coordinator, which would have changed my mind about everything because I love the Kubiak design and like that um tree of coaches stemming from the Shanahans. Falcons, I do agree with you that they could use a little bit more grooming and kind of meshing together. Be an interesting game, still, to say the least. But all right, we'll go into the next game. Rams, Bears. Bears are 3-point favorites.
Um, you said who?
Bears are 3-point favorites.
Uh, this is Bears Rams, or what was the game?
Bears, Rams, yes.
Yeah, that's a little bit. It's because the Rams defense is just they're so injured on offense. So I think the Bears are going to be able to capitalize on defense. And the Bears offense is due, to be honest.
I like that. They're just due.
1 second. I'm getting a call from my hospital right now. Can I answer really quick?
Yeah, go for it. I'll talk. All right, Cole's on the phone right now. Bears, Rams. That's a surprising line to me. 3 points going to the Bears that haven't looked good really on offense. Their defense has played well. As Cole mentioned, the Rams defense is a little bit banged up and they're young as well. They don't have Aaron Donald that they can lean on anymore. But I feel like that the Rams coaching staff is going to run circles around the Bears coaching staff. I think that's
Yeah.
where the discrepancy lies. And as we saw from week 3, coaching fucking matters in the NFL. Coaching is a big thing. So I think that the Rams coaching staff will have them prepared and ready to go. And I don't know about dominate a rookie quarterback, but at least suppress him enough that Matthew Stafford can win a game.
Yeah. I agree. I caught the last end of that with the coaching. I will say the Rams, that's their greatest strength right now.
Okay, we'll go into the next game. Packers, Vikings. Packers are favored by 3 points. Is that assuming that Jordan Love is going to play?
Yeah. I, I've heard people like play I think the Packers should be favored either. No, the Packers would be 4 point underdogs, 3 point underdogs at least, I think, with Malik Willis at quarterback. I think if this game's in Minnesota, Minnesota is a 3 point favorite. So I think it's because it's in Green Bay. But ironically, like last year, Packers won in Minnesota and Minnesota won in Green Bay.
Yep.
And both games were pretty one sided. Minnesota was pretty much always up by 2 scores against us week 8 of last season. And on New Year's Eve, when the Packers went into Minneapolis with everything on the line, the Packers just dominated. So I really think this is going to be an early season. Packers aren't mature enough offensively to deal with the defense that Brian Flores is throwing at them. We've already seen this year in the league, defenses are winning early. And especially if Jordan Love coming back, if he's not like extremely confident in his leg, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a great performance for him, especially against a defense that's going to blitz 7 to 8 people at one play. Um, he's probably going to be a little bit tentative and squirmish with how to how to protect himself. So I get nervous with this. I think we're going to struggle more than we usually do on offense, and defensively, I think we're going to have our hands full.
Yeah, I think my one question to you is, do you think they're rushing Jordan Love back at all? Because I feel like with what we talked about earlier, with how good the Vikings defense is, could it benefit them by not having Jordan Love play in this game?
I would say so, although I've seen like Jordan Love in warmups the last 2 weeks, and like he's looked really good and mobile in the warmups. I think he's more mobile. I'm more concerned as a fan of like if he gets hit and he gets re-injured. That's what I'm scared about.
Yeah.
I don't really care about like the mobility as much, although like that's one of Jordan Love's better aspects of his game. So defense is what I think is going to give us a chance in this football game. I think defense is really playing with a lot of confidence, and we're at home. We're playing Aaron Jones, who is a stud, and he's playing great football right now, and he's going to want nothing more than to play his career game where he runs for 4 touchdowns and shit against us. So who knows?
Interesting. Interesting. Yep, I forgot about that revenge game factor right there with Aaron Jones. All right, we'll
Yeah.
go to the next game. Steelers at Colts. Steelers 1.5 point favorites. I don't know how it's just 1.5 with Anthony Richardson. I believe he's leading the league in interceptions with 6. And the Colts defense is not good. And the Steelers can run the football. So wouldn't surprise me if the Steelers win this game by 10. And I say 10 because the Steelers are notorious for only just winning by 10.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the defensive front, the defense as a whole of the Steelers is very difficult for an offensive line that's maybe not really good. And unless the Colts are really able to establish the run, I don't really see how this game is close.
Yeah, establish the run, or Anthony Richardson hits like three deep bombs to Alec Pierce or something. I really don't know why this is just a 1.5 point line. Maybe they know something that we don't know. All right, we'll go to the next one. Your guy, Aaron Rodgers, New York Jets at home against the Denver Broncos. Jets, 7.5 point favorites.
Yeah, I mean, you got to stop underestimating Bo Nix. Bo Nix and Aaron Rodgers is about to be the greatest QB rivalry in the NFL. We're going to see this matchup again down the line in January. That's a fact. Um, and just don't mince words when I tell you, Bo Nix will have a better passer rating than Aaron Rodgers. Not just this game, but when their careers are over 20 years, we're going to look back and say Bo Nix was the better player.
Oh, Knicks. I'll still just remember him at Auburn just being an absolute gunslinger, running around for his life. But
Yeah,
Bo Nix, man. Yeah, we'll see if the Jets can string two together. That's all I got really on that. Next game, we got Buccaneers at home against the Eagles. Rematch of the NFC wildcard game last year. Philly, 2 point favorites. I guess maybe because the Buccaneers looked so bad last week against the Broncos, kind of had like their comeback to earth game, and the Eagles did squeeze out a tough victory in New Orleans. That's why they're in the 2 points. But in my mind, this should either be a pick 'em or the Bucks by 1.5.
it's in Philly.
No, it's in Tampa.
Yeah, that's interesting. Um, I would still, I mean, like I would pick Philly in that game if you had to put something me to tell me to put money on it. I would I would pick in a money line type. I would go with the Eagles, but if it's in Tampa, I think that's a toss up.
It's going to be a sunny day in
Big
Tampa.
game. That's a big game though.
All right, we'll head into a revenge game. Panthers at home. Andy Dalton at the helm going against the Bengals 0-3. Bengals need a win. Andy Dalton wants to prove them wrong. Bengals 4.5 point favorites. What do you got? It'd be so
Yeah,
funny if Andy Dalton wins this game.
I would be, and I'm kind of here for it. Although I want AFC to beat NFC, so let's go, Joe Burrow. Get
Lol.
the Is Joe Burrow overrated or is Joe Burrow just playing on bad teams?
Pretty sure Joe Burrow hasn't thrown an interception this year.
Yeah, like I don't think he's playing bad, so I don't think people are talking about it. But it just seems like
It's
everyone's like
what
grouping
I,
Joe Burrow into like the Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen, and I'm like Joe Burrow's more like Justin Herbert to me.
Joe Burrow is very good. I'll say that. Joe Burrow is very good, and I think there's two differences. There's a difference between Joe Burrow being on the Bengals, Josh Allen being on the Bills, and Pat Mahomes on the Chiefs. Joe Burrow plays for we talked about it, the least rich owner in the NFL.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's
like,
fine. Gotcha. But I'm talking just about talent. I get it. There's a surrounding cast and
no,
everything.
yeah,
Aaron Rodgers done with that too.
I know Aaron Rodgers had that too, but how many Super Bowls Aaron Rodgers win, bud?
More than Joe Burrow.
Yeah, he's got one. Joe Burrow's already been to one.
Yeah, but he lost the one. And I'll say this: you said Joe Burrow was really good. You know who else was really good? Tony Romo.
No,
Like I
no,
right now I'm like Joe Burrow
no.
is gonna be like Tony Romo.
No, Joe Burrow is definitely more talented than Tony Romo. Tony Romo was not. I won't say he wasn't good. I'll say he was not great. And then when those years started to go later and later and later on, Tony Romo got worse and worse. Tony Romo never got better and better. Tony Romo was really
Tony
good
Ro-
when he
Tony
when he
Romo had some
burst on
really
the
good
scene
seasons. He had some really good seasons in his late 30s.
in his late 30s.
Yes, when he was like 36, 37, he had like two of his best years.
I don't know about that one.
Look it up. Look it up.
I'm looking
I
it up right now.
promise.
I'm looking it up right now. My computer's taking a while to load.
The only reason he fell off was because he got that really bad back injury, and then Dak Prescott, as a fourth round pick, came in and just took the team over.
I'm pretty sure they missed the playoffs those years.
No, when Dak Prescott came in,
No, the so in 20, yeah, all right, late 30s. What are you talking about late 30s?
2014.
2014, he's 34. So that's not late 30s. Also, he did go 12-3 on that year. Pretty sure he that is like his best year in his career. Oh, is that
That's the year they lost to the Packers
the Des Bryant play?
playoffs.
The Des
Yeah,
Bryant play.
they had a fucking great roster that year.
Yeah, lost 26 to 21
Anyways,
to the Packers. And they barely
anyways,
beat a Detroit Washington a Matthew Stafford Detroit team.
all right, we gotta.
I think you're a little bullish on that Joe Burrow Tony Romo thing.
Okay,
Uh a lot of people also forget
Tony Romo or Deshaun Watson.
Tony Romo. But dude, I'll take a homeless man over Deshaun Watson right now. Um, a lot of people also forget that Joe Burrow went into fucking Orchard Park a couple years ago, 2 years ago, and beat the shit out of the Bills in the playoffs. I don't know why everybody
Yeah,
forgets that game
because they missed the playoffs last year.
because he was hurt.
Yeah, I know. It's just it's unfortunate series of events. I'm not saying Joe Burrow's a fraud. I'm just saying until he gets repetitive, consistent success with
Without
you
getting
know,
injured.
yeah, like I don't look. I look at Joe Burrow as or Justin Herbert in the same regard as Joe Burrow.
I don't know how you can say that when Justin Herbert's only been to the playoffs one time and he lost in devastating fashion to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Because Justin Herbert hasn't had nearly as good of a supporting cast as Joe Burrow has in his career.
I would, I think you can argue that one.
All right.
Yeah, I think you can argue that one because
I would pick
Justin
Joe
Her
Burrow over Justin
Justin
Herbert.
Herbert
I
Justin
would
Herbert
pick
had
Burrow.
Eckler, had Mike Williams, had Keenan Allen, had forget the tight end's name. And then on their defense, they've had Joey Bosa for years. I'm pretty sure Khalil Mack was on that team.
All I'm saying is it's Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, and everybody else. It's not Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow than everyone else. That's all I'm
I
saying.
I could agree with you on that. All right, we'll go into the next game since we spent so much time on that. Texans, Jaguars. Texans, 6-point favorites. Jaguars really need a win.
Um, yeah, this is a fucking. I mean, the Texans got to win too. Get back on track. But Jaguars are like the ship's gonna sink if they don't. The zoo's gonna close
They're
if they don't fucking get a win.
After this game, they have like four really easy, not four easy games because it is the NFL, never know what could happen, but four games that are very winnable for them. I forget what the order is, but it's like play the Patriots, they play the Titans, and they play the Bears. I think those are three of the four teams that they play. Um, yeah, Jaguars desperate for a win. Texans trying to get back on track. I think they split the season series last year, 1-1, and I don't know. I would just look for CJ Stroud to light it up because the Jaguars defense looks bad.
Yeah.
All right, going into 4 o'clock games. Cardinals at home against the Commanders. Cardinals 3.5 point favorites. I think that's a little surprising with how well Jaden Daniels just played on Monday Night Football, but could just be like a one-hit wonder for a rookie right now. And the Cardinals have been feisty.
Yeah, this is a good game. It's going to be an offensive shootout. You've got a good offense out of the Cardinals, really good offense out of the Commanders. Cliff Kings, Cliff Kingsbury coming back. Fucking
Oh, I forgot about that revenge factor.
yeah, like they're gonna come out firing. So it'll be a good game.
Yeah, I think that's a surprising game now. I think both teams definitely very feisty and playing hard. We'll go into an ugly game. 49ers at home against the Patriots. 49ers 10-point favorites. I think that's a little much.
Um, yeah, I mean, shit. How are the how are the Patriots gonna score though? That's my question.
Good point. Good counterpoint. Good
Like
counterpoint.
how is it like I don't think it's gonna be like 50 to 30. I think it's gonna be like 16 or 17 to 0, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
17 17 to 6. 17-6.
out of all the injuries that the 49ers have, I know Javon Hargrave just went down last week, but their defense is decently healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hargrave's out for the year.
Yeah, he tore his tricep, right?
That sucks.
Yeah. Tough. All right, we'll go to the next game. Ugly game. Hate this game. Raiders at home against the Browns. Raiders 2.5 point favorites.
Raiders are 2.5 point favorites.
Yep, as it
Wow.
should be. As it should be.
Um, I'm picking the Browns 100% of that game. Uh,
Nice.
I don't know. I don't really see a lot going for the Raiders, and they didn't have success last year. The thing that the Browns have is they have a very similar roster than they did last season, as they did last season,
It's identical.
and they were one of the best rosters in the league last year. So it's not like they can't get back on track. It's early in the year. They're still going to cling to that. I think eventually Deshaun Watson might get so pissed off at everything that he's just like, fuck this, I'm going to ball out.
I
And
think
that could happen.
I think the
And
it's
this would
more
be the week to happen.
I think it's more likely he just walks away from football.
I don't know if he's going to walk away until they get rid of his contract so he can get the fully guaranteed money.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really going to talk about this game. I kind of already blew up about it earlier. So we'll go into Chiefs Chargers. Chiefs 7-point favorites, probably because Justin Herbert in like a walking boot and both offensive tackles injured. Chargers just being the Chargers and being very injured. And of course, they get an early matchup against the Chiefs where they probably could steal one against the Chiefs, and it's looking kind of doubtful right now. What do you got?
That's exactly how I was going to frame it. Like could be the year where they can, they're the only competition of the Chiefs in the AFC South or AFC West, that is. And what do? They just fucking you don't the Chargers always get hurt, so you're like, oh, let's put the game against the Chiefs early in the season, and week 4 they're already banged up.
Yep.
So it's tough. Something's going on with the Chargers. Feel bad for their team.
Yep. Feel bad for the Chargers. And I'm not going to bring it back up. All right, we'll go into Sunday Night Football. Bills Ravens. Very important early matchup between two AFC conference juggernauts who both think that they can beat the Chiefs to get to the eventual Super Bowl. The Bills have looked very, very good. The Ravens coming off of a very shaky win against the Cowboys to get their first victory of the year. What do you see going on in this game?
Well, Ravens are favored, right?
2.5 points.
That's that's something. I that's that's just so interesting because like the Bills are playing like the number one offense right now,
Yeah,
but you just got to think that Lamar Jackson's gonna Sunday Night Football. He's gonna play his ass off in Baltimore. I don't know. The Bills play way too many primetime games, but at the same point, so do the Ravens.
so do the
So
Chiefs.
yeah, and like I'm not saying I don't like it. The Packers have been playing at noon games like all season. So whatever. I sure. I think the Bills are going to win this game, but I think it'll be close.
Interesting. All right, Monday Night Football. Ugly matchup to start. Titans, Dolphins. Dolphins favored by 1 point. I think this is the opportunity of a lifetime for Will Levis to light it up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to watch this football game to be honest. I don't want to. Like, I might watch Dancing with the Stars. I'm
Until
gonna.
until the other game comes on.
Oh, you're right. You're right. That dumbass shit where they do like the 45-minute intervals. Can we not just spread them out entirely?
Yeah, I don't know why they do. I mean, it's definitely because of West Coast, but I don't know. I really don't like the two Monday night games because every time you put it on, like even if you don't want to multicast it, ESPN automatically multicasts it, and they take away like 30% of your fucking TV screen with the stupid multicast like picture that they do. They make the game that you're trying to watch a decent size, and then they put the fucking smaller one, the other game, in like a smaller box off to the side, and then they fill the screen up with shitty fucking graphics. Like, nah,
Yeah.
dude, I have this game on for a reason. I want to watch this game. Like, I was trying to watch that Commanders Bengals game, and it kept bringing the Bills Jaguars game on my screen. I was like, dude, no one wants to watch that right now. Why the fuck are you doing this to us?
Yeah. Every 5 minutes there's a touchdown.
Drove me fucking nuts. Um, I'll be interesting to see who the fuck starts for the Miami Dolphins, but it sounds like Tyler Huntley's going to start. All right, we'll go to the last game. Seahawks at Lions. Lions 3.5 point favorites. Break it down for us, Cole.
Uh, really good game. I think this is huge. Can the Seahawks stop the run? I think they can. I think they have a really good defensive line and a front seven, and they're gonna play up to snuff with the Lions front. I don't know if they're gonna be able to handle the passing attack and the run, but I think they're gonna be able to make the Lions one dimensional. But the Lions in the end can win with a one dimensional offense. They're both the ground. And then defensively, I think they pretty much match up well with the Seahawks. The Seahawks and the Lions have had good matchups these last couple of years. And the Seahawks keep it close. This is a really good game.
Yeah, I think also talking about the Seahawks, I think they've yet to put together 4 good quarters of football. You think back to that week 1 matchup with the Denver Broncos. They started out really slow. They got two safeties on them, so they got sacked in the end zone twice. Don't know why you're trying to pass in both those situations. And then they play the Patriots week 2, kind of like a slobber knocker, war of attrition game. They end up winning it out, winning it out. Then this last week against the Dolphins, they win. It looks like a blowout on paper, but they scored all their points in the first half. They didn't score again in the
Yeah,
second half. The Dolphins were hanging around in that game, hanging around, like go for the jugular. And like I just feel like the Detroit Lions are a more well-functioned team at this moment period in time than the Seahawks. I'm not going to say that Mike McDonald is not going to be a good head coach. I'm just saying that Dan Campbell is more seasoned in this type of matchup and environment than Mike McDonald right now. And that is going to be my tipping of the scale towards the Lions.
Okay.
All right, we'll go into third down. Third down. What's our third down? I forget.
Lock, lock of the week. I don't have my stats from last week.
Um, Last week, your lock of the week was the Bengals. That lost. Your upset of the week was the Chargers. That lost. My lock of the week was the
Holy
Chiefs.
shit.
What?
I'm I haven't won one.
No, we're terrible this year. I am uh I am I'm
Dude.
I'm 2-1 on locks and you are 0 and 3 on locks and 1 and 2 on upsets, and I'm 0 and 3 on upsets.
And to just for the fucking negative four people that are listening to this isn't off the spread. This is just money line.
It's just
I'm
money line.
so bad that
I've
this is
if
I'm picking the team that has the biggest spread and I'm losing every time.
you've yet to figure
This is
out.
basically Survivor. Like this is Survivor in a nutshell, but easier because we can pick the same team multiple weeks. Like I picked the Bengals and they fucking
Yeah,
suck.
you've yet to figure out my strategy of just picking the Chiefs every week.
It's I mean that's better than the Bengals. Fuck.
Oh man. No, I'm going different this week. What do you got for a who's your lock of the week? Who's your favorite?
Gosh. I'm gonna go with lock of the week, the Jets.
Jets. Just remind everybody, Jets are playing the Broncos, the team that Cole is super high on.
Yeah.
All right, my lock of the week is the 49ers against the Patriots.
Yeah, that was my other one.
All right,
Um,
who's your underdog?
upset. Upset is going to be the Browns.
Ugh. My upset of the week is going to be the Saints over the Falcons. I'm taking a tough one.
Okay.
All right, best and sneakiest matchup. I've yet to write these down at any point, so I don't
My
remember.
best. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, just say it.
my
Just say what you got this week.
my my best matchup is the. I think Seahawks Lions is going to be a really good game, and then my sneakiest matchup. I think the Buccaneers and the Eagles is going to be another one of those games where neither are talked about as like the top five teams in the league, but they're right below that, and it's going to be an important game for the NFC.
Yeah, best matchup. I'm just gonna take it. The other one of the other primetime games, Sunday Night Football, Bills, Ravens, Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson. These two teams, you could say they probably don't like each other because they faced off so many times. Um, Two marquee franchises that are looking for Super Bowl victories and are two franchises that are favorites to win the AFC slash get to the Super Bowl with a tough early matchup between each other. It's going to be a good one. And then my sneakiest matchup, I'm going to take the Commanders Cardinals game. Jaden Daniels looked really good on Monday Night Football, really fun. Kyler Murray looks back in rhythm with the Cardinals. A lot of young talent in this game. I think there could be points left and right. I think both teams' defenses are not great. So it's kind of what I've been doing this with sneakiest matchups is I'm going to try and pick the game that's the most points.
Yeah, I like it.
You can now we'll head into our pick six of the week. What do you got for your pick six? Started us off.
I have the Browns.
Plus 2.5.
Yeah, whatever you got for the line. I don't remember the line, so just I'm taking them with the spread, obviously.
Alrighty. Plus 2.5 Browns. My first pick is plus 2.5 Saints.
Okay. I have the Saints as well.
Plus 2.5.
Yeah.
All right, my next pick, I've got plus 3 points for the Rams.
Okay. I got the hear
You
me
there?
now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Give me the Bears against
Be
the Rams.
Bears -3. All right, my next pick, I got -1.5 Steelers.
I got +3 Vikings.
+3 Vikes. Next one I got -3.5 Cardinals.
Give me Jets spread.
-7.5 Jets. Then I've got -2.5 Ravens. Who's your last pick?
I have give me the God, who's on Sunday football? I want the give me the Bills.
Bills +2.5. Alrighty. And then my last pick will be +1 Titans. Just a reminder for everybody on the season so far, Cole is 7-10-1, and I am 12-6.
No, you're not. That's bullshit.
How am I not 12-6? I've gone 4-2 every week.
I think I'm 12-6 too.
No, you got one game right last week. You went 1-5.
I identify as 12-6.
Yeah, I mean, we could all identify as that. All right, who's got the juice slash fantasy slash anytime touchdown scorers? I didn't hit last week. I said Stephon Diggs in a revenge game. He had a ton of receptions and a bunch of yards, but that didn't hit. Give me Aaron Jones revenge game against the Packers, and give me give me Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen rushing touchdowns.
Okay, I'm gonna go with yes on that.
Just yes. Nice.
I'm gonna say give me Dontavian Wicks 27.5 yards.
All right. You got any closing thoughts?
I do not.
Alrighty, that is a wrap for MnM going deep this week for you guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy week 4 football. Enjoy your college football. Big game in the SEC. Georgia, Alabama, baby. Let's see who kicks it. All right, that's it, everybody. Go Browns. Bye bye.
Go Pack, go.